Hello. Let's look at different ways that you can buy a vehicle, whether that be a new vehicle or a used vehicle, or however you intend to buy it. When you're looking at a vehicle, you will often look at a new vehicle versus a used vehicle, and you'll need to compare which is a better choice for you. A couple of things you might want to consider. When you're looking at a new vehicle, usually you have a longer warranty. That's a good one. You also have usually better reliability. You expect it to last a lot longer before you need to repair it. And you can use a trade-in. That's an important one. You may have better loan options. You will likely get better fuel economy for a comparable vehicle. If you're looking at a new small car versus a used small car, newer ones will typically have better fuel economy. You also have more choice because you can choose the vehicle that you want. The big downside for a new vehicle is depreciation. New vehicles are a lot more expensive to start with, and new vehicles, even though they may lose value at the same rate, 20% of $30,000 is more than 20% of $10,000. So depreciation means you lose value in that car very quickly for the first couple of years. That is the big downside of buying a new vehicle, is the quick depreciation for the first couple of years. Also, for a comparable vehicle, a new car is just more expensive. New cars tend to start for the very base models at around $15,000 to $18,000 right now, and the sky's the limit. A reasonable new truck, for example, might be looking at $40,000. If you're looking for a fancy truck, you're looking at maybe $80,000. And if you're looking at a sports car, well, they're way more than that. A used car, on the other hand, the big reason to buy a used car is that it's cheaper up front. You have less depreciation because it's starting off at a lower value, and usually a comparable used car, because it's cheaper, will be cheaper to insure. That depends on the situation. With a used car, however, reliability may be a concern. If you get an old used car, it might be less reliable. You might have to fix it more often. And that maintenance and that repair may end up costing you a lot more money than you expect. Used cars also may not have a warranty. Depending on the age of the vehicle and depending on where you purchase it from, you can sometimes get third-party warranties, or sometimes the manufacturer's warranty will extend to cover the second owner. Generally, however, a used car is cheaper for a comparable vehicle, and it does not have the depreciation for it. When you're actually looking for a used car and a new car in the real life, there's no 100% answer. You have to look at the details as to what you're purchasing and what you're purchasing it for, because there's no solid answer that one is always better than the other. A lot of people will say that a sweet spot is a 2 or 3 year old car. It's gotten past the biggest depreciation, but it's still reliable and it's still fairly new. But that depends on the vehicle, depends on your situation. You can sometimes get deals on new cars that are really good, especially for the financing. You can often get better deals on financing for a new car than you can for a used car. Fuel economy is another one. If you add up all of the possible costs and you look at all of the possible stuff like fuel and maintenance and warranty and trade-in and all that sort of stuff, there's no hard and fast rule that a new car is going to be less expensive or more expensive in the long run than a used car. You have to look at each situation and base your decision based on that. There's a lot of tools online that you can use to help calculate this total cost of ownership, how much your vehicle is going to cost for you to own over several years. But as a general rule, used cars are cheaper, and new cars tend to have more choice, longer warranty, better reliability, that sort of stuff, but you pay for it. Again, that changes based on each scenario. Now, when you're looking at a new car, there's a couple of different ways that you can purchase or acquire a new car. You'll often need to look at financing or borrowing the money. Sometimes you'll want to look at leasing. Both of these, again, can be good options in the right scenario. Financing, good things about financing include the resale value. You can sell it at the end of it, and you have something to sell it for. You can also trade in for it, and there's no limits on driving it. Once you purchase it, it's yours. You can drive it as much as you'd like. Downside is that financing it ends up with a higher monthly cost. You're paying more per month when you finance it versus leasing it. When you're leasing it, you're looking at a lower monthly cost. Part of the reason is when you lease a vehicle, you're only paying for the depreciation for the period that you lease the vehicle. That is less than the value of the car, so your monthly payments can be less. When you're leasing it, you can choose to buy out the purchase at the end of the lease, but you don't have to. Sometimes that buyout or that residual value will actually be less than the resale value of the car, so you can actually make a profit by buying out your lease and reselling the vehicle. The downside to leasing is there are penalties if you drive over the limit of kilometers per year. Usually that limit is 20,000 kilometers per year. You can extend that to 24,000 kilometers per year. If you're living in a city, not a big deal. If you're living in a country, 20,000 kilometers a year might not be enough. Sounds like a lot. If you're driving to the city every day, you will easily be over 20,000 kilometers a year. The other thing is, leasing it at the end of the lease, if you turn the car back into the dealership, you don't have any resale value to work with. Those are a couple things to note with. Leasing, there's also a little bit different rules for how you apply for that. Note that with leasing, you will also have a down payment so that you don't get out of that. But both of these can be good options. Again, look at the details, look at the difference when you're looking at these. Now, generally, financing can be a good option if you keep the vehicle until the loan is paid off and a couple years after that. If you take a 6-year loan on your new vehicle and you keep the car for 10 years, your financing will probably look better for you and save you money. If you're looking at leasing a vehicle, if you're getting a new vehicle every 3 or 4 years, leasing may be better because you're never going to get out of those monthly payments. You're always going to have those monthly payments, so you might as well choose a lower monthly payment. Leasing is good if you're getting a new vehicle every few years, whereas financing is good if you're keeping a vehicle for a longer period of time. Also, typically, you don't get leasing options for used vehicles. That's very unusual. Financing is generally how you have to go if you're purchasing a used vehicle and you want to borrow the money for it. That's something to note as well. Hope this has helped a little bit. If you have questions, there are a ton of good resources online as to when purchasing or when leasing is a better choice, or when a new car or when a used car is a better choice. And there are many different opinions on these, but it's important to remember it depends on the situation. It depends on the deals you've got. Can you negotiate for better prices or better rates? There's no fixed rule as to which is always better. It depends on the scenario. Hope this has helped a little bit, and I hope that you have a great day.